My name is Darlene, and I'm chair of two of the groups in BCS. That's two of the 100 or more groups in the BCS. My two groups are called Central London Branch and North London Branch, and they're great. We've got thousands of great members between us. But I also have here Suhair Galab, who is the chair of the BCS Business Change Specialist Group, which is one of our many dozens of specialist groups on specific computer-related topics. Suhair, I don't know if you're able to say hello, but otherwise I can say hello for you. Yep, okay,
Hi,
let me.
everyone.
Oh, great. Hi, Suhair, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. And you? I'm looking forward to the speaker today.
Wonderful, and so am I. And we have a number of people here also from the Agile Specialist Group. So welcome to all of you. Well, I'm afraid I'm not feeling too agile at the moment. This because of the heat. But the heat is on in another sense as well, because we have a really hot presenter for you. He is called Diego Groiso, and he is going to tell us about a wonderful subject which we really do want to know about. And I know that because I can see that more than 100 people are already logged on to this webinar. So welcome, welcome, and welcome. It's okay, I'm not going to say it 100 times. Instead, let me just say, we're talking today, Diego, about agile transformation and the safe agile framework. How can you be safe and agile as well? Well, please join me in welcoming Diego Groiso. Over to you, Diego.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. So this is me. Uh, why am I here? Why do you want to listen to me? This is me. I've been around. I have a lot of experience. I have done safe. I have done agile. I have done project management, program management, all of that. But the reason I'm here to talk to you today, because I have done it. I have lived through safe and succeeded. And we won prizes and all of that. So it's a real life experience of doing safe from nothing to success. And that's what I wanted to tell you about. It's not just theory. I'm going to tell you a little bit of theory, but I'm going to put my little bit of history in the middle as we go along. You can ask questions at any time. If it's pertinent, I'll try to answer it in a moment. Otherwise, we can address most of the questions at the end. What is SAFe? SAFe is the operating system for business agility. Since January, SAFe has been saying SAFe is useful for business agility, not just for IT agility. And I'm going to explain what that means. Mick Kirsten wrote a book about that's called Project to Product. Great book, highly recommended. And what he says is that those who master large-scale software delivery will define the economic landscape of the 21st century. In other words, software is eating the world. So you have to master software development, otherwise your company may fail. If you look at some stats, BMW is expecting that half of the R&D people are going to be developers. The market cap of Tesla is bigger than Ford. Apple is the biggest watchmaker. So again, software is eating the world. We have to be very good at software. Otherwise, as a company, we may have a risk, a big risk. So, but another interesting thing that Mick says is that the problem is not that organizations are not realizing that they need to transform. If you ask any CEO, CIO, they would say, yeah, of course I need to transform. We are running a digital transformation. Of course, everybody, that's top of mind of everybody. But the problem is that organizations are using managerial frameworks and infrastructure from the past, which do not adapt for the current age, where things change very fast. I think I have another quote. Let me, I'll be back. So the problem now, the difference of this revolution, the software age revolution is the speed of change. It's not just change, it's changing very, very fast. So when you start a company, you are a group of 10 people, and you can be focused on speed and innovation and customer centricity because you are just 10 people and you do what needs to be done to get it done, to make the customer happy. But as you grow and you are successful, your company stakeholders and investors, they want to create efficiency and stability. They want to have predictability. So we create this hierarchy and processes and standards that allow us to create this efficiency and stability. The problem is that as this hierarchy grows, it becomes much more powerful that the network focus on customer centricity. What happens is the network gets destroyed and you end up with a very hierarchical, very silo-oriented company, which are very efficient and very stable, but have very low speed of innovation and many times lack of customer centricity. So what there's another book that the SAFE team has been inspired by, which is Accelerate from John Conte, that says the solution is not to trash all these beautiful hierarchy process and standard and start again, but the solution is to introduce a second operating system, a second way to manage a company where we can have this focus on innovation. We can have it's like an overlay. You have the hierarchy, you have the structure, the reporting lines, the awards, the budget, all of that. But to deliver customer focus, we manage it slightly different. And that's exactly what SAFE proposed to be. SAFE proposed to be the second operating layer that focus on the value stream, on the products, on the customer, on top of the traditional hierarchy. So basically, and I have seen it with my own eyes. You take people from different departments, they have the reporting line, the bosses, their bonus, all of that is fine. But when we need to deliver this product, you work for me. We all, not for me, for this product. Our focus is to deliver this product. I know, but my department wants to do some reporting. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this product. So you create a focus, a virtual focus on the delivery of value, disregarding of where people come from and budget and all of that. So this is called the big picture. This is everything you need to know about SAFE. If you go to the website, everything is there. If you click, any of these drawings are clickable, and you click and you have pages and pages of documentation. The great thing about SAFE is that it's free, kind of. All the documentation is free. You can go and read everything. The problem is that there is too much. It's just a lot of material. A few years back, they printed everything in a book, and it was like this, very big book. And now they're printing a new one because it changed every 6 months. It evolves. But the good thing is that everything is there. You can go and click everything and find all the information you need. So, but what SAFE says is to move out from, to really get the benefits of lean, agile, and SAFE, you need to try to get to business agility. And to get that, you not only need to have good technical teams, technical agility, that's basic, you have to have that, but you also want to have business level commitment to products and value stream. You need the whole company to be focused and using the agile principles and practices proposed by SAFE. Operations, legal, marketing, HR, finance, everybody has to be involved in using these principles and be committed to produce this change. So that was the introduction. So what is SAFE? I like this definition because it's if you take the time to read it carefully, it's very, very powerful. SAFE is the world's leading framework for business agility. Why? Because the service says so. If you look at a State of Agile, every year for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years, SAFE has been, the number of people that says, yes, I'm using SAFE is significantly higher than any other framework. I think in the last one, 35% of people say they're using SAFE, and any other, then the next one was like 20% for Scrums, and the other formal frameworks were much less used. So it's the industry is saying, yes, we like it, we use it. It's perfect? No, of course it's not perfect, but it's the best we know so far, and companies like it. So it is for companies, for large companies that want to become lean enterprise. It's a knowledge base. It takes information from many knowledge bases, books, thought processes from different authors, and it's proven. It looks for. Sorry, I'm trying to use my pointer, which is not working. Let me use that one, this one. It integrates all of that. So it looks for principles, practices, and competencies. So all the tools that it can give you, and it makes sure they are integrated, they work with each other. And this proven. They first go and test it with their own customers. They look for the repeatability patterns, the successful patterns that can be repeated. And once it's proven that it works all together, they put it into the framework. So every 6 months, every year, they create a new version, not a new version, an improved version. And it mainly takes information from Lean, from Agile, and from the box. So what are the customers seeing as a result? 30% more motivated employees. Think about dumping the intrinsic motivation of the knowledge workers. Faster time to market, 50% time reduction. Can we get the profits earlier? Great. 50% defect reduction, great, more, better quality, better customer satisfaction. 30% increase in productivity. So all good things. And this is not safe saying it. Just go to the website. There's a lot of case studies for different customers. It's getting results. That's why companies are implementing it. So these are some of the customers. You have very large organizations, from the NHS, from the Social Security Administration in the US, from NASA, PepsiCo, to Fitbit, to smaller companies. So you have large companies and small companies using SAFe. So to summarize SAFe, because SAFe is so big, you have a lot of material to read. The way to look at it, they created these 7 competencies, which are areas of implementation, areas of knowledge that a company needs to master in order to achieve business agility. Basically, you need to address this, you as a company, I mean. First, you need to focus, again, on customer centricity. Customers should be at the center of everything we do. And in large companies, we tend to forget about that. We tend to focus more on process or budgets and departments and silos. We forget about the customer. So please, customer at the center of everything. It has to be supported by leadership. If your transformation, if your initiative to move to Agile, to Lean, is not supported and lead by the leadership, sorry guys, it's not going to work. It's going to be very painful. You're going to spend a lot of money trying to transform, but if you don't have the management support, it's going to die very quickly. And I'm going to walk you through all of these competencies very quickly. I don't have a lot of time, so I'll do it as fast as I can. Lean Agile leadership. So the Lean Agile leadership competency describe how Lean Agile leaders drive and sustain organizational and operational excellence by empowering individuals and teams to reach their highest potential. So the leader is not a manager, is not telling people what to do, is helping people do their job and trying to get the best of they can. Change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. If you haven't read about that, have a look. It's very interesting, where everything is possible. You follow the core Agile values, which are alignment. You can read them there. You have the Agile Manifesto and the Agile Principles for team level agility, and you also have the SAFe principles, which are how to scale all of that. So the scaling part comes from the SAFe principles. Leaders need to lead by example. They have to be authentic. They have to help others grow. They have to decentralize decision making. And more important, they need to lead the change. They have to be, sorry about this, they have to have a change vision. Why are we changing? They have to create an environment of psychological safety. So there's a big task for leaders. Leaders have to be on board. If I were to start somewhere on an Agile transformation, is with the leaders. Then you need a team. You need to have great Agile teams. Scaling Agile is about scaling Agile. If you don't have Agile at the team level, you cannot scale. So first of all, you have to be doing Agile. Whether it's Scrum or Kanban, doesn't matter, but you have to have the right practices and the right mentality at the team level. You have the right teams and the right roles. If you have more than 10 people, like 50, 100 people, SAFe proposed the metaphor of the Agile release train, which is basically a group of about up to 150 people that work together, that are aligned and synchronized to deliver a common business objective. That's the most important thing. Everybody that needs to be involved to deliver this single piece of value has to be aligned. This is the virtual organization I talked before. It doesn't matter where they come in the organization from. What matters is that we need those skills to deliver this product. Hence, they have to be part of the train. Either full-time or part-time, we can argue about that. But they have to be aligned to deliver this value. And of course, you have to follow all the engineering, software engineering practices so we can deliver good quality code. Once you have a good agile team or agile restraint, you have like a Ferrari, you can go very fast. But if you don't tell the machine what to build and you don't build the right stuff, it's not going to deliver value. So you want to use customer centricity and design thinking to make sure you build the right thing and spend the time challenging all your assumptions and hypotheses so you can give the team the right thing to build. Once you build it, one practice that I love, I think is very, very powerful, is this develop on cadence and release on demand. You want to decouple the process of delivering to the process of releasing to the users. So you want to create some stability, some cadence, and a constant flow of value to a pre-production environment, or even better, to a production environment hidden from the users. And you leave the release to the customers to only be a business decision. So that simplifies a lot of the conversations. One set of conversations is with the team, how to get the stuff into production. The other conversation is with the business, how is best to deliver this thing to the users. You want to implement DevOps. Yes, automation is good, but there is a good set of cultural aspects to the DevOps implementation. And also implement what SAFe calls a continuous delivery pipeline, which is basically these 4 activities: continuous exploration, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous release on demand. They happen on parallel all the time. They are independent. They're very well connected, but they're independent. They're happening on a continuous basis. Different people doing different stuff, but you are always continuously exploring the market. You are always doing continuous delivery and integration. Don't forget about integration. If you had 100 people or you have 1,000 people, the integration points are your key milestone. You want to continue deploying to production, and you want to be able to deploy, to release to the users as soon as the business needs to. I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the agile release strengths because it's like the basic building block for scaling agile. We said, yeah, we have a great team, but now we have 10 or 12 teams. How do I manage those? How do I synchronize and align all of those? Well, SAFe proposed a lot of practices and tools to align all of these people to deliver a common goal. Remember, if these 10 teams are not delivering a common goal, this may not be necessary. But if you have 100 people, like we have in Vodafone, we have at the peak time 150 people to deliver a common call center tool based on ServiceNow. How do I manage that? How do I synchronize all of those and make sure I minimize the dependency? So the agile release train is there for that. It creates a common cadence, it synchronizes everybody, and it delivers value every, say, propose between 8 to 10 weeks. In the companies I usually work, they tend to do it every 12 weeks, which is 3 months, to align with the financial calendar. But it's a short period. It's a medium-term period. It's not a 2-week period like Scrum. It's not the 2 year like Waterfall. It's a medium-term period increment. And all of these people are aligned to a common vision, and very importantly, through a single backlog. If you don't have a single backlog, sorry again, you have a big problem, because 2 or 3 things are going to be the most priority things at any point in time, and then you need to argue, discuss, get into a conference, book a meeting. It's a pain. If you have a single backlog, everybody knows what is at the top of the backlog, and there's no argument about that. It's not that simple, but it's very, very important. And also, the next practice that Agile proposes, in order to align all of this and synchronize all of these people, we create a PI planning event, which in the past it used to be a 2-day face-to-face event when you bring all of these people together. We have brought all the 150 people together, but not all of them because some were offshore. But you try to do it face-to-face. Management set the mission, what I'm going to accomplish in the next 3 months. with the minimum constraints, and the teams create the plans. Because the team creates the plan and they say, I think we can deliver this, those plans has better chance of success than if a project manager in an ivory tower says, you shall deliver to this plan. So you have better plans with less risk. They're not perfect, of course. They will fail, of course, but they would have more chances of success than one done in isolation. We have also done in Vodafone PI planning all remote, everybody in their homes when COVID hit us, and it worked actually very well. The team said, "Oh, but this worked better than before. We may continue doing all of it remotely." So this is slightly changing, but the idea is that you want to have as much communication as possible during those 2 days, so you can solve all of the conversations in a very short period of time. What happens if you have more than 150 people? Intel, I know Intel has used Safe to develop chips. They have 2,000 people to deliver a single chip. That's a lot of people, and they are delivering a single business value, and they need to be aligned, synchronized, dependency managed. It's very tough. So Safe proposed a lot of tools and practices to target for that. Quality management, we want to be more focused on continuous quality management. The same way that we have NFRs, non-functional requirements, to address performance and security issues, we need to track all our quality indicators on a periodic basis as well. It's part of our delivery. If we have, as I said, 2,000 people, we likely would have, remember the agile restraint that I mentioned, up to 150 people. And there's a good reason why it's 150 people. We can get into detail later on. But you may end up with many trains, 10 trains, whatever. And you may have a supplier that is not agile, they are waterfall, and you have a contract and you have to deliver to the contract. So it may deliver on milestones, and that's okay. You may need to do a little bit more planning and more advanced notice to this team because they take longer time to actually produce something. But you want to treat them as part of the team, part of the train. They should come to the PI planning. They should have access to your management systems. You want to treat them as partner, not as just as a supplier. And more important, you want to, so some of the practices, I'm not going to mention all of that, but work with fixable and variable solution intent. Don't fix everything up front. Leave some stuff, fix whatever needs to be fixed at the beginning, but leave everything else what we call to the last responsible moment. Don't procrastinate, but leave it to the moment that it makes sense, when you have enough information to make a decision. Work with multiple planning horizons. You may need to, 3 months may not be enough. You may need to plan with 3 months, but also a 2-year horizon, and have different granularity, but you want to have a vision of what you're going to achieve. Plan for a bold deploy system. Tesla, you can have an update, either a bug fix or a new feature into your Tesla over there overnight. So when you deploy a solution, think about how you're going to keep it live for the next 10 years or the whole life cycle of the project, of the product. Then when you have many of these chips, if you're Intel and you have 2,000 people doing one chip, you may have 10 teams working, 10 chips being produced in parallel. I'm just inventing here, I don't know, but you would have a portfolio of these sort of projects. Large companies, Boeing, Airbus, Intel, have many of these large projects. So you need to manage the portfolio. SAFE also provide tools to help manage the portfolio. I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail, but these are different collaborations between different groups of people to achieve the different areas of portfolio management. Basically, what you want to do is align the portfolio, the way you invest your money, to the enterprise strategy. Make sure that we are building the right thing. You want to maintain a portfolio vision and a roadmap, what is coming on the next 2 or 3 years. Establish lean budget and guardrails. That's a difficult word for me. Those are specific practices very useful for portfolio management. And establish portfolio flow. How many times have you seen projects started and never ending? And everybody says, "Oh, but we were doing this project 2 years ago and it's not moving along. What's happening?" But we need to invest more. So many times at the portfolio level, companies don't know how much stuff they are using. It's like not knowing how many people is queuing in a supermarket. You need to know how many projects are in your queue, in progress, to establish a flow of projects that you can start and finish. Organizational agility, you want to embed these principles and values across the whole company, as I said before, not just IT, not just the business, but also marketing, HR, finance. Everybody has to be well trained, first of all, and believe these values and principles. You want to look into lean operations. Do you know that many processes in your company, many of the stuff that you do, and you say, oh, this project took 2 years to deliver, the actual work time could be like 5 or 10% of that time. The rest of the time, things were just waiting. So there's a lot of weight in all of the companies. And we many times focus on improving developer efficiency, getting more developers, getting more testers, where in fact, most of the lead time, the time we wait for stuff to be done, happens just waiting, because we are waiting for an approval, the boss is not here, we need an architect who's on holiday. So focus on lean operations. How can we reduce the wait time across the whole company? And more importantly, your strategy needs to be agile as well. You want to be able to change your strategy when you need to. It doesn't mean that you're going to change it. I've seen many companies produce the 5-year strategy plan, and they review the strategy only every 5 years. But what if COVID happens? Do we wait 5 years for the change strategy? Or we can look at the market now and change and do something else. So you want to be sensing the market on a constant basis and have the capability to act quickly if you decide to do it. And you want to create a continuous learning culture. You want to encourage people to achieve personal mastery, team learning, apply system thinking across the whole company. Focus on relentless improvement. Everybody should be always looking at what can I do better? How can I improve this thing, this testing, this script, this purchasing process? You have to have that constant sense of danger, that if we don't fix it, somebody's going to eat our lunch. And you want to create this innovation culture. One of the things that I see in many companies, that innovation doesn't happen because there's no time and space. There's never a time, or I cannot say, oh, I'm going to spend 2 days playing with this new tool. There's no time. I can't do it. It's just that either it's not approved or it's going to look bad. So self-propose a specific practice to create this time and space when we ask people, now is your time to innovate, do something about it. We ask the people to go and see, especially managers, go and talk to your developers, go and talk to your customers. Don't rely just on the report and sit on your desk. Go and see what's going on in the floor. And pivot without mercy. If what you're doing doesn't work, either technology-wise or product-wise, change. Ignore sunk cost. Just the fact that you invested £1 million doing something doesn't mean that you need to invest the next £1 million in that same investment. If it makes sense, of course, do it. But if it doesn't make sense, do something else. And innovation riptides. Innovation riptides is taking feedback from the developers, from the testers, from the UAT guys, from the customer, from the early customer, from the late customers, and feeding back into the backlog so we can improve our products as quick as possible. So those are the 7 competencies. SAFE provides also self-assessment. It's a questionnaire. There's about 10 questions per competency, and there's about 65, 70 questions. You can answer very easily to understand where you are, and then it helps you tell you what you can do to improve. What is the direction that you should go? And it's free. It's on the website. So the other good thing that SAFE does very well is that they have looked at the success pattern and said, what is the pattern that successful companies, the companies that have implemented SAFE successfully, what is the pattern that they have implemented? And they have distilled this pattern. And this is what we did in Vodafone. You get a go SAFE decision. It's a decision point. In my case, let me tell you a little bit. I'm going to start now with the more with the Vodafone example. This was a project that was trying to change the way Vodafone provide customer service to the business customers, call center agents, basically. The project took about 2 years to pass gate 2. For those of you that don't know, gate 2, at least in Vodafone, is the moment that finance says, yes, you can go and spend the money. So we give you the money, management said you can have it, but now finance is saying you can go and spend it now. But the team spent 2 years, about 10, 20 people, trying to pass gate 2. Imagine the investment of that just to pass gate 2, what it was, and they couldn't make it. So the IT leader and the business leader said, this is not working. We know we have a problem. We know the solution. In the gut feel, we know that this is the right solution we want. Let's try something different. So they did a handshake, an official handshake, or a virtual handshake. I wasn't there, but I was told that there was a handshake between the IT leader and the business leader to say, let's create a bubble, what we call a cultural bubble, where things are going to be different. So within this bubble, we will allow the team to do things differently, experiment, and we're going to protect them. Without that, it's very, very hard to do these kind of things. Fortunately, we got that visionary leaders that said, yes, let's do it differently. So we got that handshake. So then IBM comes along, they look at our processes, the project, and they said, you shall do safe. Okay, let's do safe. We presented to even the IT leader's boss and the whole IT management team what safe was all about. Okay, good. So from that moment on, we got this umbrella, this culture bubble protecting us from the outside world. It's not perfect because you still need to interact with the external world. So you can live differently within the bubble, but you still need facilities, you still need servers, you still need purchase orders. So you need to manage the bubble. You need to create these interfaces. People that would, at some point, we have a project manager dedicated to deal with external dependencies, because we were a bubble doing Agile and all those things, and we have a lot of project managers in staff. We needed to put a barrier between us and them. But so we created this bubble. Then we did, I did the implementing safe course. I was a plain project manager. I was there as a project manager. I raised my hand and said, yes, I want to be the change agent. I can do it. So they sent me to an SPC course. The SPC is a relatively high level certification within SAFE. It's a 4-day training. It's very good. It's relatively expensive, but it's very good. It allows you to become the change agent. You can go and sell SAFE and Agile to all the executives and all the people you represent the Agile mindset within the teams. And also allows you to teach all of these courses to the rest of the teams, which is a money saver for the companies. Once we did this, I became an SPC. We didn't need, this section is to select which train to launch. We didn't need to because we already knew we were going to launch that train, so we automatically jump into here. And then we did a leading safe for the leadership of the train of this project. It was a program about 150 people. We trained we have a program director. We have the business director that was like the key stakeholder. We have the product owners, product managers. All the leadership team of the program were involved in that training. Let me tell you, it was very difficult to organize. Imagine getting all the difficult people in the company for 2 days in a room, all at the same time. I spent like 2 months trying to set up that training. And it was fairly successful. I get about 80% success rate on the people coming along. Okay. Once we trained that, then we trained the product owners. We didn't train Scrum Masters because we hired good Scrum Masters. We learned in the first few months of implementing that we couldn't rely on the vendors' Scrum Masters, so we decided to bring independent Scrum Masters to avoid any conflict of interest between developers and Scrum Masters. The key of the role of the Scrum Master is very critical, especially if you deal with outsourcers. You want to have the transparency of what's going on. This course for architects was not there at the time. We have to train by hand the architects, and we train the teams. We didn't do the Safe for Teams training, but we did agile training for the teams. And see, all of this time prepare for our lunch. One of the activities is doing the training. Of course, you want to train everybody, but the second most important activity that you do is prepare the backlog. If you don't have a good backlog, the team, even if you have a team that looks like a Ferrari, they have been doing agile for a while. They are on the performing side of stage of the team. If they don't have a good backlog, they're going to deliver nothing. So you want to have a good backlog. A good backlog means that the items in the backlog follow the invest model. They're independent, they're valuable, they're negotiable, all of those good things. And it's very hard, especially if you come from a waterfall background. For the company, it's very, very hard to create these small independent pieces of value. It's very hard. So, but my suggestion is, it's better. There's always the argument of whether to delay the PR planning to get a good backlog, or do it as quick as possible and then learn as you go. You have to find the right balance. I wouldn't delay too much, otherwise you never start. But on the other hand, if you do PR planning with a backlog, it's worthless. So we did PR planning. I was the RTE. I'm going to explain later what the RTE is. It's like the chief scrum master. We have 6 scrum masters. I was the chief scrum master. And this 2 days event, the PR planning, I should organize. I should facilitate it. I was scared to death. How do I facilitate an event for 2 days without understanding what it is? So luckily, the best thing I did was ask for a consultant company to come and facilitate it with me. Not for me, with me. And a very experienced guy came and said, I'll coach you, you lead, I'll coach you, I'll protect your back. But you have to be in front of the event. And I was. And it was very, very successful. And we started sprinting. And as we went along, 3, 6 to 9 months, other teams started to say, hey, we like what you're doing. Can you teach me? Can you tell us? And I started to become the coach, not a coach, but providing advice to other programs, large programs, 150, 300, 400 people that were implementing SAFe. And now, 3 or 4 years later, most of the large transformation programs within Vodafone Business are using SAFe. They're starting to implement a lean portfolio management office. They have implemented a LACE, Lean Agile Center of Excellence. And it's perfect? Of course, not perfect. There's stuff to be improved. Of course, there's always stuff to be improved. We always say that Agile is a journey, it's not a destination. So you have always things to do next, but they are on the road to change. So the other good thing about SAFe is that you have a lot of information online. Lots. Articles, guidance, presentation, white papers, videos, customer stories, glossaries in many languages. You have a lot of stuff for free. What you have to pay is the training, of course. That's the business model. It's not cheap either when you start to scale, but there are ways to do it, especially developing your internal capability. The other thing that SAFe does is, because it's so big and it doesn't not everything applies to every company, they have created these 4 configurations. If you just have a team of 150 people, you can do essential SAFe and you only focus on this bottom part of the picture. If you have many of these teams but with different business value, you create the portfolio of these things. If you have, like Intel, 2,000 people doing one thing, you implement the large solution. And if you have everything, then you implement everything. So you can pick and choose. I always say that SAFe is a toolbox. You can pick the tools you want. The ones I don't recommend dropping or changing is the PR planning and the agile restraints. I think those are very, very powerful. That's the secret sauce, which is not secret, but that's the secret sauce within SAFe. All the rest, you can pick and choose. It's a big community. There are different ways to engage in the community. If you're interested, I usually go to the SAFe summits. I love them. It's a way to meet people. It's a way to learn about the new things, because every 6 months, every year, they launch new stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. So, as I said, in Vodafone, we only had one team of 150 people, so it was perfect. It was the perfect example for the essential SAFe. I already talked about this slide, what we did. So this is what we implemented. So So you have agile teams. As I said before, SAFe is for scaling agile. Dalim, I'm not aware. I forgot to put my timer, so I don't know how am I doing with the time. Whenever I need to stop for Q&A, just stop me, please.
You're doing fine, Diego. It's okay.
All right, thank you. So as I said, scaling agile, you need agile. If you don't have agile teams, you don't have anything to scale to. So this is the agile teams. Everything is based on agile teams, doing either a Scrum or Kanban and implementing some good engineering, software engineering practices. Each team should have a single backlog, and the whole program needs to have a single backlog. Each team will have the Scrum Master and the Product Owner. And see that they have added these business teams. These are not just IT teams. Could be business team, could be a marketing team, could be an HR team, could be a finance team, or could be a mixed team. I always call it the doers, not developers. They are doers because there could be many skills. There could be process people, it could be finance people, marketing. They are people that do the stuff. These are the actual doers. Everything else is an overhead. These are the actual guys or ladies, apologies, that do the work, that create the value. Everybody else is there to support them. But if you have 10 of these, how do you manage them? So we implemented this triad as proposed by SAFe. You have the RTE, Register Engineer, that was me, which is basically the Chief Scrum Master. Again, it's not the boss. Nothing in SAFe talks about reporting lines. Doesn't matter. Reporting lines, the silo they come from, the budgets, the reward system, SAFe doesn't care about that. That's on the hierarchical side of the operating system. SAFe says, to deliver this value that the business is asking me, I need all of these skills. Just get it done. I don't care. For me as an RTE, I want to protect all of this construct to deliver value. How it gets there, not my problem. Somebody else. That's the hierarchical side of the company, of the operating model. So the RTE job, I always say that it's accountable for everything and responsible for nothing. I always said I don't do anything. I cannot be responsible for anything because otherwise I would be the bottleneck. So I cannot be accountable to deliver anything, but I am accountable that everybody knows what they have to do and they do it whenever they have to do it. So I'm accountable for this value being created and the flow of value. The key job of the RTE is to maximize the flow of value. Look, again, sorry. You have seen the last slide. There is a discount coming up. Then you have the product manager. If you have 10 product owners, you have 10 different visions of where the product should go. So what you do, you have one product owner, one person, and this product manager, there's a little bit of trickiness in the naming because it's not the product owner that we know from marketing. It's not the guy responsible for the P&L of the product. It could be, but this is a role. So whoever fills the role doesn't matter, but it's a person, is the boss of the product owner, is the person accountable for the value delivered of this thing that the team has built. Let's say that the team built everything perfect and we put this stuff in production whenever we say we're going to do it. The value obtained by that, there is accountable for this product manager. Okay? And it has to be it's a full-time role. I've seen people suffer a lot because they were not full-time. And after 3-6 months, they say, okay, I should be full-time. And so it's hard for companies to say, oh, we need to dedicate a very valuable business person to deliver this project. But it's very powerful, very useful. And actually, if you read Mick Kerson's book, Project to Product, if you start thinking about the product and not as a project, it's not that you're putting a business person to deliver a project, you're making the business person own the life cycle of the product. And the delivery of the new capabilities is part of that life cycle. And you have a lot of developers, a lot of architects. You need to have one person making decisions about the technical things of the product, about the solutions, about the system to integrate, the interfaces, the languages to use. You need one single decision maker. So you have the process guy, the value guy, and the technical guy. These three people are accountable to deliver the value. When people ask, so but who's accountable in the train? These three people with different responsibilities each, but these three people. And you have business owners. Business owners, it is very interesting because the definition is a small group of key stakeholders. Any project, any program would have a lot of stakeholders, 10, 20, whatever. Apologies. But who are those 2 or 3 key people that may benefit the most and may have a big opinion on what we build? Those are the ones that you want to have and be close to the team and come to all the ceremonies to make an opinion, to have an opinion. All the rest can be informed, but you need 2 or 3 guys to be very, very closely to the program. We implemented most of the ceremonies. We implemented a lot of post-its, a lot of visual boards to visualize stuff. We implemented Jira. It took us a while to implement Jira. I suggest you invest in the tools. My lessons learned from the 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this, Jira or any tool, that doesn't matter the tool, you need to have a good tool. You need to invest in the tool. If you don't invest in the tool, in the management, on the process you follow, you're not going to get the benefits. We didn't do continuous deployment. The team, when we started talking about not even continuous deployment, but the deploying every 2 weeks, the business started saying, wait a second, I cannot absorb new stuff every 2 weeks. I need to train 1,000 call center agents. I cannot train them every 2 weeks. It's too expensive. It's too disruptive to the business. And that's where the release on development cadence, release on demand comes along. We want to establish a cadence, a stable process for the teams to deliver value, and we leave it ready for you to use whenever you need to. And we started training people every 3 months mostly, and then they started to accelerate when they got used to the process. But that practice was very, very useful. Peer planning, we brought everybody together, very, very powerful events. I suggest for the first one, bring somebody that have done it before. Then the next one, the RTE should be able to do it. You want to do the system? Yes.
Diego, can we make it 5 minutes more?
Yes.
Fine. Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Where the system demos every 2 weeks, we try to demonstrate value, and it has to be integrated value, not just per team value. You want to make sure that the work done by one team integrates well with the work done by other teams. So doing the system demos every 2 weeks is very important. And every 3 months, you want to show a big demo of everything you have achieved. And it's a big show-off tool. You can show off to the rest of the company everything you have achieved. What else? What else can I tell you about what we did at Vodafone? We break a lot of rules. We broke a lot of rules. But thanks to this bubble, even the getting a room for the whole team was a change. And even the facilities team came and complained because we were making too much noise and using too many rooms. So there were a lot of roadblocks that were not anybody could think of. So, but having this bubble protecting your finance, getting finance to approve a 3-month budget without knowing exactly what you're going to build, that was a big challenge, but we managed to do it. So you need to have that permission to break the rules. I think that's about it, what I wanted to tell you, so we can open to Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, what about questions? It's your turn. Do feel free to ask questions, enter them into the chat box, or raise your hand, and we will try to pick up your questions. Preferably, just type into the chat box. Let's get some questions going. Suhair and David.
We have one question here.
Excellent.
In what sense is the team a train? Is it because it is a lot of carriages linked together, or because it is running of constrained rails in a set of direction?
I think the metaphor has to do with we deliver periodically. So we create this cadence of moving along. We get everybody into the same wagon, and we deliver every 2 weeks. We deliver stuff. Every 3 months, we all deliver stuff together. So we are all in the same train, and we're going in the same direction to the same destination, which is that value that we want to achieve.
I have another question from the same attendee, which is he's asking, what is the value?
Value is whatever the business wants. A new database, a new mobile app, and in the Vodafone case, the new call center tool, which was a ServiceNow. Last project was a data lake, a BI tool. So whatever the company is, somebody in the company is saying, I have £1 million. I want to solve this problem. That's the value. The solution you build to solve that, to make that problem go away.
Another question says, are all the values quantified?
That's a very tricky question. Yes and no. Yes, you want to, but sometimes it's very hard. So from my perspective as an RTE, I'm the guy helping everybody deliver stuff. I don't care so much about quantifying value. I care about making my product manager happy. So the product manager is accountable to deliver value. Somebody says, I have £1 million, I have this problem, gave it to the product manager and said, fix me this problem. So I trust that the solution this product manager is putting in place is going to solve the problem. So I want the whole train to deliver the perfect solution for this product manager. Now, whether that solution delivers the value that he promised, that's part of the product management capability that I was not part of. But I assume he's asking for the right stuff. If he's not asking for the right stuff, that's where this area of customer centricity and design thinking tools would help him make the right decisions. But whether he justified the value by saying we have reduced cost by 10% or we have increased sales, or he said I have happier customers, I don't know. I don't. It's better if you can quantify it, but sometimes it's just hard.
If your value is better security, how do you handle it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, 1 second. If your value is better security, how do you handle it?
Better security. So you would have that's not something that you could build. Yes, okay. What does that mean? So we would need to, this red line here is what we call architectural runway, is building stuff for later on. So it's more of explorative. So I would say, okay, let's start the design thinking process as a better security. What is the problem? First, if you do you no. So this double diamond is a very interesting tool because allows you to explore the project first, the problem first, and then explore the solution second. And first you diverge. You start from better security. You want to diverge. What are all the things we can do to improve security? Better firewall, better antivirus, better physical security, better budget. I don't know what it means exactly. So you explore all the universe of the problem. Once you have a lot of problem areas, you converge into okay, in reality what we really want is solve the physical security of the building. We want to have a better application to manage the budget of contractors that don't come back. I'm just inventing here. So you converge into a problem. So in this part, in the left-hand side of the double diamond, you explore the problem area. Okay, you better define what the problem is. Now you can explore the solution. What are all the possible solutions that you can use to improve the security of the building, of the batches that people that leave the company? You explore all the possible solutions, and then you start conversion to choose what is the best solution that you want to implement. So this is all an exploratory part before you can even tell the teams to build something, because you don't know what you want to build. I hope that explanation makes sense.
Where is the cost benefit assessed?
Cost benefit of what?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I will make an assumption that you're talking about. We want to, let's say that the architects say the best solution is implement a new software to manage the budgets. As we said before, the problem is improve security. The architects say, or some wise people in the company said your best solution is we need to implement this tool and we need to change a lot of applications. So in the portfolio, if this is a big investment, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, let me tell you. Can you see this slide, the big picture?
Mm-hmm.
So at the portfolio level, so this is a big investment. We need to spend about £2 million to change all the security systems. We will need to follow the portfolio management to make sure this gets approved. If it's big enough, you want to treat it as a portfolio epic and get it approved. To get it approved, you will need to do some cost benefit analysis, which I think you asked for. So if it is a small thing that the team, so that's why this lean budget and guardrails allow the teams, the agile restorer, to say up to a certain amount of money and without impacting too many applications, you can make decisions yourself. Sorry. If you need more money than the threshold, or you impact this many applications, or you have this GDPR risk, you need to come and ask for us. So you want to decentralize those decisions. But for those things that have significant implications, either cost or security or regulatory, you want to treat them as an epic, and you would have at the portfolio level some approval steps.
I have a question from Simon. I have a general question about SAFe and its versions. That you mentioned you have been doing SAFe for 4 years. How much has it changed since you started your journey, and did it cost to keep upgrading?
Okay, so I started SAFe with 4.0. After 4.0 came 4.5, then 4.6, and then 5.0. So the big change I have seen is with this last one, 5.0 in January. They changed significantly the focus from being an IT tool to being a company-wide tool. So that was a big change. When they change small numbers, the 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, whatever, those are small changes and usually impact very areas in particular. This 5.0 was a big change. Does it cost to change? Yes and no. So SAFe makes a lot of effort to make sure everything they do is compatible in the past with the past things. So until now, at least, nothing of what they're proposing now would break anything you have done in the past. But the reality is that, let's say you started with SAFe 3.0 5 years ago, and you implemented by the book. And SAFe comes along now and says, hey, you have 5.0, you need to upgrade. No, it doesn't work like that. Because when you started, as I said, Agile is a journey. You would have started with 3.0 and you would have evolved. You will not be doing 3.0 by the book. You will be doing something else. What you would do is, hey, what are the new tools that SAFe is proposing in 5.0? Can I use some of this? Oh, design thinking, that's very interesting. Or the assessment, it gives me tools to measure and grow. I can embed those tools into my new SAFe version. So it's not that you get stuck into a version. SAFe recommend. So once you do as I said, you pay for the training. When you give the training, you launch in a train, you have to pay for the licenses. Yes. Then there is a renewal fee, which is very, very cheap. There's a little bit of value in doing that. If you're going to be training and delivering the training, yes, you want to certify it and know the latest thing, because you want to be training on the latest thing. You don't want to be training old stuff. But you don't have to pay to upgrade your system. It's not that you pay for an upgrade. If you want to, the people in your company, the people that are already certified, would be having access to the new version. They would get trained automatically. No, not trained automatically. They would get access to the training. They have to do it, and you can take those tools and start using them, or you can go to the website and just look at them.
What is the biggest what is the biggest challenge you faced when implementing SAFe in Vodafone?
getting 150 people for 2 days in a room. How do you justify that? It's about £50,000 for 2 days. How do you justify to a senior manager, hey, I want to spend £50,000 just to get together for 2 days? It's very hard. That's why that's why uh, that's
How
why
do
we
you
do this.
how do you apply SAFE in very small company around 20 staff?
You don't. So one of the principles of scaling is if you don't have to, don't do it. So my suggestion, if you are a 25 people company, look at the big picture, especially the essential safe picture, and see if you can benefit. Take the tools that you may benefit. The single backlog, the product owner role, maybe they are clear, I don't think so. The PI planning, the system demos, the architectural runway, the core values and principles. All of those are excellent things. You don't need to implement SAFE. You don't need to have an RRT, a art. If you don't have to, don't do it. If you have less than 50 people, I wouldn't bother. Yes, I would take the tools. Talk to me or go to the website and pick the tools that may help you. It's very useful, but don't try to implement SAFE. It's just too much. It's for scaling. If you don't have to start.
I'm conscious of time. David, how much time do I have? David?
Hi, this is Dalim. We're good till for about another 20 minutes if you have the
Excellent.
questions.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Can SAFE framework be used as a recommendation for adaptation of agile methodology and its impact on information technology?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Me
There
too.
are, there, there are different frameworks in the market, safe, less, that, scale, scrum. There are different frameworks. Some companies choose one, some companies choose other. Safe is the one being more popular today. It may change tomorrow, who knows? I cannot compare frameworks. I don't know enough about other frameworks. This is my experience with this framework. I don't know about the others. But it is a good framework to start the transformation from a waterfall mode to an agile mode, business agility. I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but I understand your question.
How do you successfully get many agile initiatives to collectively meet in the company goals without conflicting with each other?
Okay, that's the lean portfolio management. So let's look at the big picture. So I say that this team, this agile release train, the essential safe, is a group of 150 people aligned to deliver a single piece of value. So hopefully within them, yeah, they will have dependency, but they will manage those dependencies. The team is there, the agile release train is there to manage dependencies within those teams. Now, if you have a portfolio of 10 of these trains delivering different business value, the portfolio management office, so you want to build the trains in such a way that they don't depend on each other. If you've got trains with significant dependencies on each other, you have a problem. You may not be able to solve it, but that's a different thing. But it's going to be painful, because when you have two backlogs, two prioritization methods with two business owners saying this is the most priority thing, so which one do we do first? So dependencies across trains is a problem, and that usually happens when you have shared services. Like if you have a DevOps team that manage the environments for 2 or 3 teams at the same time, which one do we release first? I need that person to be on this PI planning, but that person needs to be in the other planning. It's a problem. So you want to build the trains in such a way that they are independent of each other. Otherwise, you are going to be delayed in delivering your value, because the objective is to deliver value. Yes, the argument could be, but I only have one DevOps guy that knows about that technology. Fine, that's the constraint. Solve it. If the business, what is more important? that we have only one of those person that we pay 100K to 100K a year, or to deliver this value. If this value would deliver 10 million a year and we delay 6 months because we don't have an additional DevOps guy, what's more important? The conversation is very simple. Do you want this value, Mr. Business Owner? Are you willing to delay stuff because corporate constraints, or do you care about delivering this value? No, I want to deliver value. Okay, fix me this problem. I need that person in the team full time, but I can't. Then I cannot give you the value. So the good thing about this parallel dual operating system is that forces you to say, hey, to deliver this value, I need all of these things. If not, the value is not going to be there, or it's going to be later. It's going to be delayed. That's what happens. So it's about the design. Okay.
How can you incorporate IT infrastructure teams with Agile or Scrum?
Okay. So there are two cases there. I'm going to make two assumptions. One is whether it's infrastructure part of this train. So I have a train that needs to deliver this, as I said in Vodafone, this ServiceNow call center tool, and I need some infrastructure guys. They are part of my train to deliver this value. So I want to, if I have those guys, those data center guys that we brought from, they were in Germany, we brought them for the PR planning. I want them to be, they don't need to be full-time, they're not needed full-time, but they have to be they have to feel part of the train. They come to PR planning, they listen to the vision of what we're going to achieve, and then they understand exactly what we're going to build. So they are part in the planning from the very beginning. That's case number one. Case number two is another company I work for, Oxford University Press. They have a whole train just for infrastructure projects, changing data center, moving to the cloud, Active Directory, new VPNs, network connectivity. So there was just a train just for infrastructure projects. There's nothing wrong with having infrastructure projects doing Agile. This is slightly different in the sense that Agile is useful when you have a lot of uncertainty. So that's why you have this design thinking piece, because you don't know exactly what the solution is. So you have uncertainty. So that's when Agile actually gives you the value. If you know exactly that you need to build this new data network that has 10 fixed line circuits rather than 20 with bigger capacity, and you know exactly how you're going to do it, you don't really get the benefit. But where you can get the benefits from the practices of having smaller deliverables, so you can visualize the progress, you can visualize the work in tools like Kanban boards or Jira. So you can get practices into the infrastructure teams that will help them. It will not help them in the uncertainty world, because they have less uncertainty. Unless they have uncertainty, they need to deliver with a new provider in Egypt, because they need to have a leg of the network in Egypt, so they need to interact with that provider there. You will have uncertainty. But other than that, if you know exactly what you're doing, you just need to do it. Some Agile practices would help you create transparency and flow to the programs.
Hi, Sohail.
Yep.
Last two questions.
Okay. What tools were provided to the product manager at Vodafone to allow that role to understand progress? Kanban ++, question mark, and burn rate.
So, sorry, can you repeat it?
What tools were provided to the product manager at Vodafone to allow that role to understand progress, between brackets, Kanban ++, and burn rate?
I love the question, because one of the big differences between waterfall and Agile is that Agile doesn't believe in reports or tools. As I like to call it crudely, is the proof is in the pudding. So rather than a tool or a report that says red, amber, green, come to the system demos every 2 weeks, come to the system demo at the end of the PI, and see the tool working. Is it working or is not working? I usually say to my Scrum Masters, "Oh yes, are you done? Yes, yes, I'm done. You sure? But it's almost done. I'm only missing. No, no, then it's not done. If you come to the system demo, it's working. You show the tool to the finance guy. Hey, look, this is what I have used your money for. Look at the tool. You can click here. You can see all the flows, the customers. Look, it's very small, but it's working. That's the best. One of the principles of Agile is the best measure of progress is working software. It, 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 I love that one because you can show progress. It's not that you tell about progress, you show it.
Last question. What is the best business value delivery case you can cite where the cause was safe?
The best
The
value delivery.
best
But
business value delivery case you can cite where the cause was safe.
so there are a lot of case studies in the website. Um I love the fact that Intel is doing 2,000 people chips with Safe. They're doing satellites. Oh yes, I have one. I love this one. I, I I go to as many conferences as I can. And last year I went to an RT conference. I'm an RT conference in Amsterdam, and the guy presenting was from the Dutch police, and he was telling that the police detectives were using Scrum to solve police cases. Imagine a police detective going through the backlog and saying, "Okay, this is the case I have to solve today. Go and solve it, and then pick the next one." I just love that example.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this is Dalim here.
We have
Thank you. Sorry, Suhail, go on.
we have so many questions. Can they send it to you by email or something, or what would you like to do, Diago?
Yes, Diego, may we send by email?
What?
Okay.
More questions?
More
We have
questions.
more, yes, but I mean,
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to do with them afterwards. I can respond them, but I'll send it back to you, Dalim.
That's great. Yes, please.
it's,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So to everyone, I'd just say if you do have more questions on this fascinating topic, then please do send them to us. And I think that should be easy enough to do. Send them to the BCS website where you got the information about this. Oh, Diego, unless you can give your excellent, there we are. On screen, you can see Diego's email address diego.groiso@letsimprove.co.uk. That's the ideal place. Diego and we will compile all the questions, plus Diego, if you would compile a log of questions and answers and then send them to us, perhaps we can host them on our website for the benefit
Yep.
of other people.
I'm always on the lookout for passionate people. So if you like this stuff, if you want to know more about it, just give me a shout. I love talking to people that really care about this. So no problem answering questions. And I forgot to mention, I work very closely with Ratak, and Ratak has a 15% discount for BCS members in any of the training. So if you're interested, just send an email to this email address, and they'll give you a code to put in the website.
That's great. Well, let's just get that email address if we want it. But Diego, please go back to your email address because that's the key one for this webinar. And finally, I would ask you to join me in applause, virtual applause, sure, but applause for our excellent presenter, Diego. Thank you very much, Diego. That's been really knowledgeable, entertaining, very informative. And I'm sure you've made a number of converts to the SAFe methodology and training and so on.
Hopefully. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me speak with you guys.
Great.